What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer I'm reviewing today once again comes from the Genesee Brewing Company, and they're out of Rochester, New York, and this is their Helles, and this is a part of their Brewers series. So this is a German-style Helles lager that comes in at 5.2% alcohol by volume, 22 IBUs, and at the time of review, this can is approximately 1 month old. So we got a Genny beer here with a little bit of hype. So this is the second beer within their Brewers series that they have released. The first one they released last fall, it was their Imperial Stout. I did review that on the channel. It was a really well-made, well-executed, old-school American Imperial Stout. Had a firm bitterness. It was pretty damn tasty. I know some people got like a metallic flavor out of it. I luckily did not. So this is the latest release, and the reason why this has a little bit of hype behind it is because this actually won the New York State Governor's Cup Award at the New York State Beer Competition back in, I think it was late March. And what is the Governor's Cup Award? It is for the best beer in New York State. Yes, Genny's Helles won the best beer in New York State. Now, I don't know how many beers were submitted and the whole nine with that, but that's still high praise for this beer. So it's a German-style Helles lager. It's one of my favorite lager styles, and I'm hoping Genny has done it proper. I've seen most people be impressed about this one. I've seen a couple people not as thrilled with it. I'm curious. I'm hoping it's delicious, and we will see. So speaking of hype, we got the Fiden's glass. Why not? Let's do it. Pouring Genny into Fiden's glass. Crazy. Blasphemy. How dare I? So anyway, yeah, it's looking like a lager of some sort. It's looking quite beautiful. Anyway, I really like the label as well. I think it's very classy. Anyway, yeah, that looks like a lager. Can see my hand through it, crystal clear. Probably see my face through it, unfortunately for you. You hold it up to the light, it has, yeah, this beautiful like yellow golden color, lots of spritzy carbonation, about a finger and a third of this soap sudsy bright white looking head. Does that look like a lager of some sort? I would say without question it does. So let's get a nose. Okay, the nose isn't like huge. What I like from Helles as opposed to like a Pilsner, for me personally, is I always get, a huge complex breadiness to the malt character. That's what kind of wins me over with Helles lagers. That's why they're one of my favorite lager styles. I love the complexity to the bready notes from the malt. And this in the nose, I'm really not getting that as much. Sure, it has a breadiness, but I'd also say it has like a slight crackery kind of feel to the malt. There's a little bit of like a red apple core, a generic fruitiness as well. And then there's this nice floral kind of herbaceous spiciness, and it's coming from the hops. It smells like a Helles, but a little like a subdued Helles, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I mean, it smells solid, but I've had a lot of good Helleses, especially over the past like 6 months to a year, that I have really enjoyed. Wondrous out of California, Emeryville, California. My favorite Helles lager from American Brewery to date of the ones I've had. This does not smell anywhere near as good as that. Hopefully it tastes a little better. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody, or should I say Prost? Okay, flavor, whole different ballgame. Yeah. So again, what makes a great Helles for me is that complex, fantastic malt character that, again, is very bready, but it's balanced. The balance is the key to the Helles lager for me. I'd like a mild to moderate bitterness with like a semi-dry finish. I like the drinkability to be through the roof, but I also want the malt character to shine. And I think they've done a pretty good job here after the first sip. This is like medium body, really nice at 5.2%. The mouthfeel, it's very clean, it's crisp, super refreshing, very spritzy on the palate, but not overblown. Like, sometimes the mouthfeel with the carbonation can go sideways with some lagers. This definitely, no. Taste, there's a lot of complex breadiness up front. It's like toasted bread a little bit, maybe even into like a slightly toasted brown bread. There's a little bit of like a slight, I'm gonna say like a slight, like light chocolate vibe, like a cocoa powder, something like that. Very slight. I know that sounds weird, but very slight. There's a little bit of generic fruitiness, like an apple, a pear. There's also a touch of like a crackery kind of malt sensation as well, and also a little bit of honey from the malt. That all hits up front, passes through about halfway through to 2/3 of the way through the palate. The hops kind of hit for me, and it has, again, this herbaceous, earthy, slightly floral kind of feeling. And it does break up the monotony of the malt character and the sweetness, but not all the way for me. So I think the flavors here are really nice. I think, though, it might be a little bit too sweet for what I'm personally looking for if you're talking about like a top tier, amazing lager. The key to any beer, I find, for me personally anyway, is balance. And I know that's a taboo word a lot of times when people say balance. It's like, well, expound upon, upon why you are saying balance as opposed to, just breaking it down further. And every time I say balance, I usually tell you why it's balanced. And again, when it comes to beer like this, I want the balance between the sweetness and the bitterness and the dryness. I want it to work in, have some cohesiveness there and work in perfect harmony where, it's not too much of one thing. This is a little bit unbalanced. It's not super unbalanced or anything, but I feel after each sip, there's a little bit of like a residual sweetness building. And it's a little bit bothersome, but it's not like it doesn't make this bad or anything. I still think this is really tasty. I like the flavors. It's just a little bit unbalanced. You can't taste the 5.2. And again, when I'm saying this is unbalanced, I'm not saying this is like drinking a 12% pastry stout and after 3 sips you're like, I feel like shit because I just drank basically pure sugar or something. I'm just saying you drink a couple cans of this. I think after that, I would be like, all right, I'm moving on to something else. I think this is a little bit too much for my palate, a little bit too sweet to session on it completely. But that's a personal preference or a personal opinion. Like you might find this perfectly balanced. You might find this, unbalanced to the maybe the bitterness side of things or the dryness side of things or whatever the case may be. To make a long story even longer, I do enjoy this beer. I think the flavors are really good, especially for a Helles. I just think it's slightly unbalanced for me to go crazy high. I mean, in New York State, they won the Governor's Cup Award, and I'm pretty sure those are like blind when they do a competition like that. So it's not like anybody saw Genny and was like, hey, yeah, we're just going to call it the best beer because it's Genny or whatever. No, it won it based on the accolades of the beer itself. However, me personally, I'll do one more sip and I'll rate it. I love the malt character of this one. Like, I love it. I think if it was a little bit more balanced, this would definitely get a decently higher score. But I got to knock it down a little bit. It's leans a little bit sweet, but it's still pretty fucking good. So Helles, a part of Genesee's Brewer series, I have absolutely no issues whatsoever. Giving this beer I'm going to go high 4 out of 5 and go 4.05 out of 5. I think that's the best I can do on this. I think you make it a little bit more balanced for me, and this is easily in the 4.25 to 4.3 range. Got to knock it down about a quarter point because of that. But it's a Genny product, and here's the best part. I just gave this beer a 4.05 out of 5. I think it's pretty damn good, right? Albeit a little bit sweet. 4 packs of this. $9.99 a 4-pack. $10 for a 4-pack. $2.50 for a can, and that is a 16 fluid ounce can. This is where you start comparing Genny to like a lot of craft breweries. Have I had better Helles lagers? Yes. What am I paying for that Helles lager? Well, the aforementioned Wondrous out in California, I don't remember what that cost, but I think it was like at least like $3.50, $4 a can. So you're talking anywhere between $14, $16. 4-pack could be even more. It could be even $18. It is California. Would I buy this at $9.99 over that at like 16 or 18? I might. I really might. It's a little bit, like I said, if I'm drinking one can, I think I'm fine with it. If I was going to session that beer, like drink a 4-pack over the course of a night, I'd go with the Wondrous or a lot of other Helleses. But if I'm just drinking a single Helles beer, by the end of this glass, it's not going to be too sweet for me. I'm just saying, like, as you session on this beer, I think the sweetness will build up over time for me. But you can't beat the price point for Genny when they do like their Ruby Red Kolsch release. That thing is usually, I think, like now it's like $10.49 or $10.99 a 12-pack. It's insane, the value from Genesee, and they do brew good beer. If you're just thinking of Genesee and the whole Genny Light, Genny Beer, even Genny Cream Ale, no, they do a lot of seasonals that are fantastic. Bring back the Schwartz beer. Shout out to Mike over at FLX Beer Reviews. He will die on that hill. Bring back the Schwartz beer from Genny. They got to do it. Maybe they'll do it later this year when the weather is cooler in the fall. You better, Genny. Anyway, availability, I have no idea with this beer. I do know we see it here in Western New York, but like outside of that, I have no idea. Like if you are outside of Western New York and you see this beer, let me know. Let me know what the price point was, and let me know if you saw this beer, because I'd be curious to see if this Brewer series gets outside of the area. But to sum this up, I would highly recommend picking this up and try it yourself if you like Helles lagers. But keep in mind that, I'm saying it's a little bit unbalanced. If you think differently, you think this is perfectly balanced or maybe a little bit unbalanced to the drier side of things or the more bitter side of things, post the comment section. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. I know a lot of people can get Genny. I know there's a lot of folks here in the West New York area that watch my reviews, so I would imagine some of you have picked this up and have already had it. So please post in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. So I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers. Oh yeah, check back next Wednesday for another West New York Wednesday. We're doing them going forward, and I don't actually have a beer. I'm probably gonna have to pick one up, so we'll see what I pick up. Anyway, till the next one. Cheers.